Stephen A. Smith goes on Hannity, of all shows, to defend himself against a black journalist. And it looked like you crying. It looked like you crying in the freeze frame. You crying into Sean Hannity's bosom live on Fox News? How does that help? Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, and salute to everybody supporting the channel over at thepeoplesgetup.com. I'm Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Now, we used to do updates over on Racist of the Week, and this is going to be my first update to troubled waters. In other words, the water's still troubled. You guys, of course, recall NABJ addressing Stephen A. Smith. They said the boy had bad feet, bad hands, a bona fide scrub. I'm just playing. It was worse than that.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women across politics, sports, and media.
Imagine being a black man, raising a young lady to be a black woman one day, raising your daughter up as a black man in this world, and this is what your community has to say about you. This is what she has to hear, what people think about you within the community. She's your daughter, she's going to back you up, but deep in her mind, she's got to be thinking, something's wrong with my father. Something's broken with my father, the way he views black women.
Hey, man, I'm feeling you was cooking, but I got to disagree with you on what must his daughter think, because you got wide latitude when it comes to kids and what they think. You know what I mean? She gonna ride with him. She gonna ride with him. Like my kids gonna ride with me. The same career that Stephen A. had in college basketball, that's what I had in high school basketball. They wasn't nobody checking for me at all. But my kids gonna think I was Kobe. Watch. They ain't gonna know I was on the freshman team. Hey, that's what you can do with your kids. Now, out of fairness, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Stephen A. Smith's response.
God bless him. We're wishing nothing but the best. But metaphorically speaking, his first move as the executive of the New York Knicks was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack.
Well, how about this?
No, that wasn't the right video. That wasn't the right. But did he ever apologize to Lamar Odom? Huh? And other ball players on crack. That was crackest. I thought that was crackest. You can't assume just because they on crack, they can't throw a bounce pass or break a press. No, I mean this response.
NABJ did Saturday night or Friday night, whichever night it was. I believe it was Saturday night. It is BS. And I get a lot of people want to pile on and they want to jump on it because you have your own individual feelings about me. I'm here to tell y'all are entitled to that. Not the NABJ. You're not entitled to that. This is me we're talking about here. I am the same guy that brought a nationally televised show to a journalism conference, which is the NABJ, the last 2 years. Did you have anything to say about me then? Did I get a thumbs down then? Here's what you may not know, NABJ, meaning the board members, because I'm not speaking about the entire NABJ. I've got a lot of friends associated with them, and a lot of them called me last night, and I got love for all of y'all. From the calls to the emails to the text messages, I know who has love for me. I'm not mad at anybody. I appreciate it all. But this is political. If I said this about a black female conservative, any of the things that I said about Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, will we be having this conversation?
Now, to the positive. Stephen A., I do respect that you really did not attack NABJ, and you specifically did not attack the individuals on the board. I will give you that. Oh yeah, I got love for the NABJ, but I'm 100% with Stephen A. Smith in this situation. Leadership of the NABJ was dead wrong for what they did to that man. There was absolutely no reasonable explanation for that. His response was perfect too. When it comes to how the NABJ handled it, well, I thought I'd ask myself. And on my poll, it looks like a good 95% of people thought that it was long overdue. And as far as his response being perfect, well, I laid out a litany of receipts in my original video, none of which were disproved in said response. So that's going, I know that ain't what I think it is. I know that ain't what I think it is. Stephen A., how does this help?
Here we go again.
Stephen A. Smith goes on Hannity, of all shows, to defend himself against a black journalist. And it looked like you crying. It looked like you crying in the freeze frame. You crying into Sean Hannity's bosom live on Fox News? How does that help?
Look, it wasn't me, okay? It wasn't me.
Yeah, if my community was criticizing me, the first person I would want to talk to is Sean Hannity. He's earning his award for next year right now. Ran directly to them folks. He's exactly who they said he is. What'd you say? Who's them folks? You know who them folks is.
Stephen A. Smith did exactly what most people thought he was going to do. I don't think most people thought he was going to run to Sean Hannity, though. Now, I'm sure when people saw that he ran to Sean Hannity on Fox News, of all places, when you were being called out for being detrimental to black women by the National Association of Black Journalists, you took your ass to Sean Hannity and Fox News to complain about it. I swear to God, the entire black delegation all across everywhere looked at that and do that and just said, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? But this is where you go.
Stephen A. Smith going on Hannity to bitch and moan proves the NABJ point of giving him the thumbs down award. Yeah. It was a lot more where that came from. They gonna drag you, Stephen A. I'll be honest. I told you, how does this help? It doesn't.
He's right, you know.
They're about to drag you. They're about to drag you. In these comments. In these comments. In these comments. Oh, they're about to drag you.
Sean Hannity, Stephen A. Smith, you basically are confirming everything NABJ said about you. But even still, I'm on the fence on whether NABJ should have called you out like that. But you still trash, though. If he's still trash, that means he was trash. So it should have been fine for the NABJ. Stephen A., that's bad. You got people that will not go along with what NABJ did, but you going on Sean Hannity validates the whole entire thing. Yeah. No, and they wasn't all tweets neither. Man, is that a Popeyes biscuit or KFC? Well, because normally I would say it's a Popeyes biscuit, but given the context, they probably would do KFC. You know Tim Scott don't got that kind of rhythm. Come on. You know Tim Scott don't got that kind of rhythm. You seen it.
Why you wanna hurt me? All right.
I like how y'all didn't bother to dress up Jason Whitlock. Y'all got Jason Whitlock in the regular clothes. Hey, Jason Whitlock is the most detailed of everybody, if we're being honest. That's literally the most believable part of the video right there, them dancing in the street. And yeah, that's exactly how I imagine he met his wife. Oh, we got Uncle Clarence in the house. Okay, still in the road. Hey, Clarence Thomas, when you get flued out by the right-wing influencers, they make you wear your robe too? Oh, we got a Sheriff Clark sighting. Okay, I like that. And Jesse Lee Peterson, you just gonna keep him on the couch like that? Come on, man. Not in a black household. Put them on the floor. Actually, it's fine. You believe them. Hey, Herschel, protect the biscuit. Protect the biscuit. Both hands, man. Come on. You can't fumble.
Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump.
Hey, I think Stacey Dash walked off set. I think Stacey Dash walked off set. She didn't even take her residuals for this. But Stage Steele will take them. Wow. Stephen A., you see what you unleashed? You see what you unleashed? Huh? Candace Owens and Sage Steele and Jesse Lee Peterson and Herschel Walker and Brandon Tatum and Byron Donald, they was minding their own business. They was minding their own business. Now, because you had to run the Hannity, they dancing on top of a KFC biscuit. And I know it's a KFC biscuit. Huh? No, I didn't say Jason Whitlock. Don't say his name too many times. There you go. I told you.
The National Association of Black Journalists just handed Stephen A. Smith a thumbs down award for disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women. No clip, no quote. This is about who is allowed to correct whom in Black America. Stephen A. went at Jasmine Crockett, sparred with Joy Reid, messy about Kamala Harris. Then he walked it back when the temperature rises. When an institution stops arguing facts, it is a loyalty court. He started sounding like a man open to Republican air. For NABJ's worldview, that is treason. Stephen A. Smith has value. The biggest mouth in sports media. NABJ has leverage. And the loudest man in the room is reminded he is still on a leash.
That's interesting. Well, Jason Whitlock, you have made no apologies or any steps back with regards to how open you are to Republican air, but you didn't get a thumbs down award. I wonder why that is. Huh? Nobody cared? Oh, it's interesting. It's also interesting you would say that Stephen A. is on a leash because we've already been told how long your leash is. Ain't that right, Nick Fuentes?
In a way, I'm done with all the Uncle Toms. I'm done with Jason Whitlock. I'm done with Candace Owens. I'm done with all the Uncle Tom token blacks. Like, you're not that smart. You're not even that conservative. You built your career on a grift that is now dead. You were hired when diversity quotas were a thing. You were hired when white guilt is a thing. I don't feel white guilt. I never have. DEI is over. So now you're done. You need to be fired. Like, you're done.
Yeah. I would call that a bit of a leash, Jason Whitlock. I would. I certainly would. But you know what? I know you took that in stride. I know you took that in stride, because it's not like he did you like Stephen A. did or anything.
You betrayed me. Did you tell the folks that? Did you tell them? You fat piece of. Did you tell them that?
Oh, that's right. So this wouldn't happen to be you running to the airwaves to try and comment on Stephen A. and amplify it now would it? Huh. That's interesting. Because if there was any basis for your comments whatsoever, I might have given you the benefit of the doubt. When it comes to receipts, and yes, this is land of the free, home of receipts, I provided many in my original video.
What's this?
See, we got defended Trump comparing his prosecution to the persecution of black historical figures, use lawfare to frame cases against Trump as politically motivated, argued black voters should consider voting Republican, said racism is not as prevalent as many claim, defended Jerry Jones after the segregation photo resurfaced, attacked Jasmine Crockett for her criticism of Trump, criticized Kamala Harris while giving Trump more grace during election season, and dare I say, after election season, where Trump is in office and Kamala is at the crib, still getting more smoke.
What? What? Who?
Engaged in a public dispute with Joanne Reed, attacked Cheryl Swoops, calling her take insane, criticized Angel Reese over her clothing while praising Caitlin Clark's branding, feuded with Monica McNutt after she challenged his show's limited WNBA coverage, defended ICE after the killing of Renee Good, minimized systemic racism, calling it overstated, appears frequently with Sean Hannity and echoes right-wing talking points. Hey, you said Sean Hannity. You mean his buddy? You mean his buddy?
Here now with more. ESPN host, the one, the only. He hates to admit he's a friend of mine. You can admit it. Just say it. My friend Stephen A. Smith is here.
Of course we're friends,
man. Now, doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women at times. Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things. Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things. Is that what this is about?
Radical people on the left. Radical people on the left. So that's also Michelle Obama. Radical people on the left. Kamala, would she be radical people on the left? Huh? Because on the left, they say that she's establishment Democrat and milquetoast, but she's radical now. Get it straight. Just get it straight.
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it, and that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen. That is a flat out lie.
Okay. We've definitely laid out quite a number of receipts. Again, this is land of the free, home of receipts. You came to the right place. When it comes to you being raised by black women and having family members that are black women, there is a whole cotton industry of black MAGAs very closely associated with the red pill community that literally do nothing but disparage black women. And by virtue of them being black, was raised by a black woman. That's not a defense in and of itself. Thank you.
Wake the hell up.
What you mean I'm trash at basketball? What you mean? Now, I slept with a basketball in my bed. For years, I slept with a basketball in my bed. So I can't possibly be trash.
And that never happened. Whether it was Jasmine Crockett, whether it was Kamala Harris, whether it was Michelle Obama, I pointed to something that they said that I may have disagreed with. That is all. That is all that I have done. And to enjoy
you said
Reid,
about Michelle
her
Obama,
as well.
she could win. That's what I remember you saying about her.
Yeah, but what? No. Yeah, but remember what happened was that I said that I did not appreciate her saying that a vote for Donald Trump was a vote against women, because I said there are a plethora of reasons why people go to a poll. Some people might prioritize the economy, immigration, safety in the streets of America, national security, etc. There are a plethora of reasons why somebody would choose to vote. To sit up there and to say to African American men that a vote for Donald Trump would be a vote against women, I said, I don't think that's fair. And that's what I said.
Okay. So to take you at your word, Stephen A., the fact that people were voting on a litany of different reasons, and therefore it is unfair to articulate to them what the ramifications are for a specific group of people based on your vote. Sure, I know you're voting based on the economy. Just understand you have prioritized the economy and the guy that has bankruptcies, just making sure that he's the one who gets to dictate where we move as a country. By the way, the deficit is what now?
Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions.
2,000 years later.
And billions and billions and billions and billions.
Okay, so the voting on the economy, we could go ahead and throw that in the trash now, right? We can go ahead and throw that in the trash. So we voting on the economy. What we voting on? The preservation of democracy. Like, what we voting on, huh? What we voting on? I know we voting on diversity. What we voting on? Okay, so the fact that they were making sure you understood the ramifications for other people, even though you may have been voting for other reasons, is unfair. For you to understand the ramifications of your actions is unfair. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I am having a very bad day.
Oh, wait. Don't get me started with what he had to say about Oprah. No, remember when Oprah said we may not get to vote again, and he had the nerve to come out and talk about the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act?
We don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again. And let me be very clear. If you do not make sure that the people in your life can get to the polls, that is a mistake. Deciding not to decide, that is most definitely a vote to let other people control your future.
Civil Rights Act of 1964, Voting Rights Act of 1965, been in place since 1965. That's spanning more than nearly 60 years, okay? And you're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that? Who believed that coming from Oprah?
Huh? The Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act? The Supreme Court said what now? Huh? The Supreme Court said what now? What was that? The Voting Rights Act? Is that what you're saying, Stephen A? That's the reason? That's the reason why Oprah was full of nonsense? Because of the Voting Rights Act, right? That's awkward. That's awkward. But we ain't acknowledged that now, have we?
My point is, whether you agree or disagree, how does the word disparaging come into play? Or to talk about me degrading and denigrating black women? No, I had a difference of opinion about something that they may have said.
Hey, Stephen A., we're not just talking about a difference of opinion. No, we're talking about a difference of energy. We're talking about a difference of energy.
The reason I have had problems with some of the things he said is because he don't keep that same energy. if you're going to, especially in your position, being Black, have a conversation about our community, that's inside of our community, about someone who belongs to our community, you got to go into that conversation with a different sensibility. Doesn't mean you don't tell the truth, but you got to be aware and observant about certain things. The right often comes after Jasmine Crockett because of the way she speaks, because of her persona, the way she comes off. They call her ghetto. Was it Lauren Loomer with her stupid, crazy ass called her Shaniqua? Constantly insulting this woman. And here you come launching some of the same criticism. It's all right if you said, hey, I think her policies are dog. I think this or that. That's fine. But that's not what you attacked her for. So that's why people had a really big problem with it. And then we see Donald Trump call you stupid. He called you low IQ. He insulted your intelligence. And people were wondering, are you going to give him that Jasmine Crockett energy? And you didn't. So that's why people are like, hey, Stephen A., we're wondering exactly what is it, or why does it seem like you have a higher level of energy and criticism for the people that look like you than for the people who don't want your people to exist.
And that is all but a journalistic organization that's supposed to, its foundation is supposed to be based on objectivity and, most importantly, uplifting African Americans within the journalism industry. Well, excuse me, what have I accomplished in my career? Where am I sitting at right now? On September 29th, I'm about to be inducted into the Broadcast and Cable Hall of Fame. I've established myself as one of those people in this industry, but I'm not a Hall of Famer for the NABJ. I brought for my national television show, First Take from ESPN, in concert with ESPN and the great bosses that I have. We brought First Take, a nationally televised show, every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on ESPN. We brought it to the NABJ conference. When have you seen a nationally televised show broadcasting live from a journalism convention? I did it the last 2 years in Chicago and Cleveland, respectively, but I don't show up this year. And all of a sudden I receive a thumbs down award. I think it's utterly ridiculous, and I called them on it.
Ooh, okay. So what we are doing right now is conflating might versus right. Is that what we're doing? We're conflating might versus right. Now, one of the things I discussed in my first video, I will certainly not poo-poo the success that Stephen A. Smith has had. And I certainly won't poo-poo the large audience that he currently has for his many anti-Black takes. Because if there's one thing we've learned is there's always an audience for anti-Black takes, is there not? There most certainly is. But correct me here, Stephen A. So, if I got you correctly, by virtue of the fact that you occupy the space that you currently occupy in our journalism world, and you brought and you brought First Take to NABJ, does that then make you above reproach? Would that make you incapable of saying or doing anything problematic? Are they obligated not to respond or acknowledge in the event that they see something that they deem problematic? I need to understand exactly what you are communicating to us, because it almost sounds like you feel like because of the position that you occupy, they have no right to speak ill of you in any way, which would be fascinating because that's literally the only explanation for how little smoke you have for the Trump administration. That tracks. Now that tracks.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Praised Byron Donalds, despite Donald's praise of the Jim Crow era, defended Trump against accusations of racism, targets black male athletes more harshly than white owners and power figures, repeatedly defended white figures accused of racism. That's a whole lot of receipts, ain't it? That is That is a whole lot of, that's a regular CVS. That's a CVS. Hey, before it was CVS, that's People's. That's a People's receipt right there. Wow. But you know what? I know that may not land with some. So for you, Jason Whitlock, and especially for you, Stephen A. Smith, why do I let a black woman weigh in?
Since receiving the Thumbs Down Award, of course, Mr. Stephen Anthony Smith went to his safe haven.
Your criticism of radical people on the left, and you did mention a couple of African-American women at times, Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things, Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things. Is that what this is about?
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it. And that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen.
You didn't say all those things? I guess we need to roll the tape again.
Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself. I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
I believe Kamala Harris's political career is over. But this was the last straw. And I'm going to tell you why. Because although I'm certainly not an advocate of her diming out her boss and talking about whatever deficiencies he may have had, you could have said something. You could have done something other than what you did. And I don't want to hear about 107 days and that's all you had.
No, dude, you said all these things. You said all those things about the former vice president, Jasmine Crockett, and other prominent black women that have large platforms. You did say that shit. And you said that to cater to your white male audience and possibly white women audience as well. Because you know what you are? You are the Benedict Arnold. You are the black person that Harriet Tubman but probably left behind. Because you saying this summer, I got nieces and nephews, but you're still a disrespectful piece of shit. I mean, you was disrespectful to the woman in the mailroom who was black in my building because y'all did not know Stephen A. lived in my building. Yeah, he was my neighbor on the other side of the building, and he was an asshole then. So it's not surprising that he's a disrespectful prick to black women. I don't care how many people you have in your family, you're still disrespectful as hell. So, Stephen, you can miss me with that bullshit because you are who you are.
But at the end of the day, while much of what I discussed in the initial video has to do with criticizing political figures, it is the defense and the greasing of this authoritarian takeover, the ramifications of which far outstrip any of your rhetoric directed at black women. In other words, the damage is real.
Yes, he decided to go into Sean Hannity's show of all shows discussing black issues. And you wonder why they gave you a thumbs down. Now, the reason why they gave it to him is because of his disparaging remarks against black women specifically. And I think something that many people have been pointing out is specifically his remarks he had against Jasmine Crockett, which he then had to come out and apologize for. Now, he says because he came out and apologized, essentially, if you look at his YouTube little show he did, then they shouldn't have come out against him, and because they put him in a category of like 5 other people who were given a thumbs down. But you have to realize that right now, black women specifically are getting hit by this administration. Black women specifically are one of the highest demographics being unemployed because of this administration. And Stephen A. Smith, just you going on Sean Hannity tonight to discuss this, highlights exactly what black people specifically have been talking about concerning you. You have been giving safe space and safe harbor to people that constantly disparage black women. So you can't get mad when an organization that represents black people are like, sir, this is not what we stand for. This is their way of saying, Stephen A. Smith, we love what you're doing, but maybe you should pay attention to who you're giving safe harbor to. And instead of apologizing after the fact, because nobody ever hears the apology, they always hear the very first response. And some of the things you've said about black women, about Jasmine Crockett, that could have had a very huge effect on how people perceive her. And it gives safe harbor for people that you allow on your show to be able to say all these other disparaging things about black women and about black people specifically because you said it. Because that's who they're going to represent. They said, well, Stephen A said it, so why can't I? And I just find it very odd. You went to Sean Hannity to talk about black issues. There wasn't a black podcast you could have went to first, or a black show that you could have went to first. Just asking for the classroom.
Well, you know, they would have had the receipts, right? A black platform would have definitely had the receipts. And one thing we've made clear is we certainly aren't addressing those.
Quietly now. Beyond these hedges, one of the preserve's loudest tokens is already hunting.
They did another one? How he get off the biscuit so fast?
Notice how it stalks black athletes, black coaches, and especially black women, without wandering far from a television camera. Extraordinary. Welcome to the Sellout Preserve.
Y'all got a whole preserve? Is this a series? Y'all got a theme song? Y'all got a motto or like a jingle that you can play? Can I recommend something?